Our roundtable, Boao Youth Talk. Today, we will invite distinguished young entrepreneurs from various Asian countries, including Indonesia, Myanmar, Brunei, the Philippines, Uzbekistan, and also our special guest with her AI character from China. We will discuss what roles young people in Asia can play in making the world a bit better and even influencing the Asian economy. Let's welcome our distinguished guest today. Could you guys briefly introduce yourself? Well, let's start with Ajita Pasaribu from Indonesia.
Hi, Huang, and thank you for having me back. I'm Agita. I am a lawyer. I'm also a founder and executive director of Kulit Art. It's a tech charity based in Indonesia. We revolutionize to provide support for victims by providing online psychological and legal support. But beyond that, I'm also currently sitting as a UNESCO Youth AI ethics steering committee as a Women 7 gender-based violence group, as a Women 7 advisor at the moment.
Thank you for joining us. And let's welcome Instan Lazuradini, also from Indonesia.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me. I'm Intan Lazuradini from Indonesia. So I work with in the field of youth empowerment. So what we do is we equip youth with e-commerce skills training, and then create collaboration with the SMEs so that it will enable the youth to be able to work from their hometown. Thank you.
And next, let's welcome Lee Sotor from the Philippines.
So hello, I am Lee Saltore. My name is Lee Saltore, and then I am the National Director for Organizational Development in our organization, Power of the Filipino Youth. And of course, we provide opportunities for education and then sports education as well. That's Power of the Filipino Youth, and thank you. Once again, I'm Lee Saltore.
Thank you for joining us. And next, let's welcome Tony Kruger from Uzbekistan.
Hi, hello, and thank you for having me. My name is Tony Kruger, and I'm the editor-in-chief at Dario Central Asia and Afghanistan, as well as Silicon Steps. Both are online publications based here in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, and both work to showcase the investment possibilities here in the region and how the region is developing and the various reforms that are going on.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. And we also have our special guest, Meta MM. She's in her virtual character, and we're joining our discussion later. So first, let me start with you, Ajita. You are a lawyer, right? But apart from providing consulting in law firms, you also developed an app online to provide services for those victims combating harassment. So how did you come up with that idea?
Yeah, I think I mentioned briefly earlier. So basically, there is a rise to over 300% in terms of the increase of cyber harassment here in Indonesia back in the COVID-19 lockdown. However, I think because of the COVID-19 lockdown, we also see there is not enough support to support the victims here in the country in terms of their psychological, their legal support, and in terms of the technological support. So the idea is really to digitalize the way how victims of online harassment to receive online psychological legal support, as well as for them to be able to create an access for psychological and legal support no matter where they are. We have a very different I think gap in terms of how many psychologists are based in Indonesia. So the idea is providing an equal access for victims to be able to receive support no matter where they are.
Yeah, so compared with offering help in the real world, how has these digital tools better help those victims online?
I think there is obviously in terms of online, it helps since Indonesia, we are having about over 270 million of populations, and the central of Jakarta is where majority of professionals like psychologists and lawyers are. So by enabling the access of everyone to be able to receive an equal access of psychological and legal support, here in this case, obviously it definitely helps. The app allow them to access the online platform no matter where they are and in their comfort of their home. it's also allowing people to have a different type of access. Not every single victim is available to basically open up directly with face-to-face conversation. So sometimes people prefer to have a chat base or a audio base. So these apps also allowing those different types of access for victims or people who need it to really receive the support.
Yeah, and also these digital tools can better utilize different types of resources. So in the future, what are some other uses of digital applications that you think would be the future trends, and what would you explore?
Well, we're currently exploring the AI potential to prevent cyber harassment proactively, and our focus is really on addressing relationship violence and non-consensual intimate image abuse, these are the biggest issues that we are currently receiving on our platform. So by using the AI to educate individuals on recognizing the signs of unhealthy relationship, and we're hoping that this AI approach could be the sort of an aim to empower users with the knowledge to protect themselves from potential harm in the future, and reinforcing the commitment that we have at Bullet App to creating a safer online environment.
Yes, true. And speaking of digital tools, I think our special guest, Meta must have something to say. So Meta with the launch of Sora, AI-generated content has been developing really fast. So how do you see AI changing our life in the next few years?
The rapid development of AI video applications like Sora. I think this is the leveraging effect of AI technology. Imagine, in the future, when writing articles, drawing pictures, and composing music, I will have the help of AIGC. It's like you're cheating in a game. The creative ability of an ordinary person doubles instantly. If everyone can easily create with the help of AI, does this mean that the threshold for future content will be greatly reduced? The competition pressure among practitioners has increased sharply. Will the business model of the content industry change? All these deserve our serious consideration. But I believe the rise of AIGC will not replace human creativity. Instead, it gives it new room for imagination. Just as the advent of the camera did not eliminate painters, AIGC is ultimately a tool for creativity. It cannot be separated from human aesthetics and emotional driving. The emergence of AI tools such as Sora and it shows us the potential of AI in content creation. They can generate content in various forms, thus changing the way we access information and entertainment. In the coming years, the technology of AIGC will surely become more mature. It will be integrated into all walks of life in a more user-friendly form. Moreover, AIGC is expected to promote the transformation of industries such as cultural, entertainment, education, and training, bring everyone a richer, more diverse, and personalized. Perhaps when you are in the car, the songs played by the car audio are created by AI. Maybe your favorite virtual anchor also has the credit of AI. Maybe your child's art enlightenment teacher is an AI painter. None of this is science fiction anymore, but the reality is close at hand. On the other hand, the development of AIGC has also brought about issues such as copyright ownership, content review, and control. Whether the content generated by AI should be regarded as original. How to avoid AI abuse such as deepfakes. All of this requires the active response of the industry and all sectors of society. Thank you, host.
And how can we young people keep pace with the development of AI? What can we do?
Okay, let's continue with what I just mentioned. When you have the technological leverage of AI, young people need to keep up with the pace of AI development. I think the key is to develop that fulcrum of oneself, that is, personal core competencies and professional knowledge. We can improve work efficiency through AI tools. It requires solid professional knowledge and experience behind it. Therefore, young people should focus more on discovering and strengthening their own strengths. Whether it's artistic programming or other fields, try to make yourself an irreplaceable expert. Secondly, it is necessary to continuously learn how to use AI tools. First of all, learn more about the early adopters of various AIGC tools to play with the GPT-made journey. These commonly used AI creation tools. Find a way to apply them to your study life. Secondly, we cannot simply be an AI controller. Learn more about machine learning, natural language processing, and the technical principles behind these AIs. Know yourself and your enemy. Develop a collaborative mindset. Also, no matter how powerful the AI technology is, it also depends on your interesting soul to feed. Observe life more. Draw creative inspiration from reading social travel. Use your curiosity and unique perspective to create engaging content. Although AI can provide assistance, but the unique creativity is up to you. Finally, always keep an eye on the movement of AIGC. Let's see which industries are beginning to use AI. Try to combine your own advantages to get close. Maybe in a few years, AI education designer, AI game designer is your exclusive springboard. Anyway, as a young man walking at the forefront of the times, let AITC become the accelerator of dreams instead of replacing your Terminator. Thank you.
And Instant, I know that you've been using digital tools too, right? Like the e-commerce platform to improve people's lives in remote villages in Indonesia. So tell us more about it.
Yeah, so you know that in the world, the e-commerce is rapidly increasing, and it happens also in Indonesia. That's why we understand that the internet and also the mobile phone use is also penetrating even to the rural parts. That's where we live, and then we then find there is a potential here, there is an opportunity because many of youth, they go to bigger cities to find employment because in the small towns like ours, it's pretty hard to get a job. So that to make this, to collaborate between the needs of the SMEs that conduct the e-commerce practices and also the youth who needs jobs without going to big cities, then we collaborate them by providing e-commerce skills training for the youth, and then we connect them with the SMEs all over Indonesia. Through this training, the youth then have the skills needed by the SMEs. And then after that, after the collaboration, they will work not from the SME side, but from the their hometowns. So that's what we do.
Yeah, so connecting those SMEs with those villagers would be very helpful for them to get a better job. So how's the situation there before they use those e-commerce platforms?
Yeah, so before the e-commerce era, so many youth, of course, they decide to go to big cities because there's not so much to do here. So with this internet penetration and also e-commerce development, then we can create this collaboration. So then not only creating collaboration, but then because they can have income, monthly income, so that the economic here also starts to get better. So if you compare it to 5 years before now, it will be very much different. Before this, like the internet is not so much used, but now everyone can access it. And also because of the the economic development also, you can see that now many people decide to work here in their hometown. So the development also getting better.
Yeah, so how many villagers are using such models, and will such models be used in other areas in the future?
So for the time being, we have trained more than 1,000 youth, and for the ones working now, it's around 500 youth who works for around 200 SMEs all over Indonesia. And we also provide other services, not only with the youth, but also related with technology to also help the SMEs. So for the SMEs we serve now, it's around 20,000 SMEs. So we hope, like in the future, of course, we understand that the SMEs will not be stagnant. It will always be dynamic. So that we must also have to update with the skills needed by the industry, so that we can still empower by providing them the skills that the SMEs need. So in the future, of course, we want to create more impact by adding more, by empowering more youth, and also maybe we can expand to other areas as well.
Yeah, have you considered about like cooperating with other SMEs, maybe in China or other countries in Asia?
Yeah, so actually for the time being, we are still focusing on the local markets, but it is not impossible. That we can create collaboration not only with the Indonesian, but also for with the SMEs out there. We, of course, very anticipated. Yeah.
Yeah. Good to know that. And so far, our guests have all shared many experiences of how they started their own businesses. So, Tony Kruger, as you are the editor-in-chief of a regional startup magazine, you must have interviewed many young entrepreneurs, right? What do you think are the common spirits among young people who can succeed in entrepreneurship?
That's a tough question because one thing that they all have in common is a tenacity, the ability to not give up no matter how many failures they have and to learn from that. Another thing is that they all acknowledge that having a good idea is not enough. They need to have a good team behind them to support them. If you have the right people in your team, there's no reason why you cannot be successful. And that's what I understood from those interviews.
Yeah, and many young people may find it hard to get such a good team at the beginning, right? What are your suggestions?
The best way is to network. Go and attend as many events as possible. See if there are any accelerator or incubation programs available. Here in Uzbekistan, there's a program called Swift Launch that helps people who are studying or working full-time to actually take classes to improve their ability to be entrepreneurs. It teaches them how to manage, how to bring out those aspects of the business that most startup founders overlook, because most founders are usually very tech savvy. They might not necessarily have the business know-how. So if they can attend these events and network and get those connections with people who have the know-how, then they can work together as a team, come up with a really good business plan, work on scaling it up. They can work together to perhaps even pivot the idea to something that is really applicable. An idea that has realistic applications is another key thing, because a lot of them have these amazing ideas that, oh, wouldn't it be fantastic if we had this AI that could do this really obscure job that nobody really knows how to then put that into application. Yes. But if you have a good team and they get that support and that infrastructure around them, then 100% they can go far.
Yes, and since you are from Uzbekistan, we know that now many young people from Uzbekistan have ventured to China for entrepreneurship through projects like the Belt and Road Initiative. How do you think the two countries should enhance cooperation in this area? And how can we help those young people expand business cooperation opportunities among different countries in Asia?
That's actually a really good question. Uzbekistan has the largest population here in Central Asia with 36.8 million. And of that, 60% of them are under the age of 30. And 30% of that total are under the age of 14. So it's a really young, growing population. And to really take advantage of that for Uzbekistan is to get investments from outside sources into the education sphere to really boost the critical thinking skills that are needed for these young people to advance and to be able to not merely follow instructions, but to come up with these creative ideas and to not lose their creativity. Because at the end of it, having that creativity helps them to come up with ideas like Agita has, with combining these two, like law and psychology, to support their communities. These creative ideas are what will boost the population. Another thing is that Uzbekistan is part of the digital Silk Road, as far as I'm aware. And having that infrastructure come in with the support of Huawei to establish the 5G and 4G connections, having stable internet connection is another key for them to progress, because Uzbekistan's population, it's quite widespread. There's a lot of different regions. And up until about 5 years ago, not all of them had stable internet and electricity access. And now, over these last 5 years, more and more are able to do that. And getting to those remote regions with the help of outside investment, as from China, I think is another key. Also, just recently, we published that China has been Uzbekistan's top trading partner for the last 5 to 10 years, even more than that. Most recently, the trade turnover was $2.1 billion. It's a significant amount. And being able to leverage this, Uzbekistan's population also is human capital, having those skills and being able to use these young people, not only for physical labor, but for their know-how. Uzbekistan has an IT park now, and they're working on outsourcing their IT capabilities, not just as, I guess, telephone operators or just as coders, but as creating ready-to-go applications or services. And being able to invest in that, I think, is another incredible move to take. Definitely one to take advantage of. And even getting Chinese entrepreneurs to come here and set up residence in the IT park, I think, is another added advantage for both, because they can learn from each other. That exchange of knowledge is also quite critical.
Yes, true. And also, Lee, you've been paying attention to creating more opportunities for those young people in the Philippines and helping them get rid of poverty, right? Tell us more about what you are doing now.
Actually, in our organization, we actually primarily cater by providing opportunities to the younger generations, just around the age of 12 years old, 15 years old, around the age of high school or elementary. So it is unfortunately, it is a very, very endemic problem here in the Philippines, which is literacy. We have one of the highest illiteracy rates, where simple high school students still has problems in terms of reading, writing. So it is a problem in our educational sector, and this is what our organization is trying to, break through, because we all know that being literate in this world is a very, very advances you in a very, very a lot of more opportunities, a lot of greater heights. So that's one of the things that we actually do. No? So we provide uh, reading hubs, reading programs. We empower students through books. So we actually donate books to different educational institutions, public institutions, and then we conduct regular sessions of youth reading hubs. So we have volunteers that are originated from different parts of the Philippines or parts here in Luzon. And then we actually conduct reading hubs in different public institutions, and we do it in a monthly or sometimes in a quarterly basis. And that's our goal. So we provide opportunities for them through literacy. And then, of course, you also go to local youth councils. So in the Philippines, there are youth councils, and then we actually empower them through the donating of sports equipment. No? Because we do believe that there is also opportunity in sports. There's a lot of potentials of Filipino athletes, young Filipino athletes, and we provide opportunities for them by donating different sports equipment. So that's what we actually do in our organization. We provide them educational and sports opportunities for them to advance them in their careers, in their interests in life.
And when you said like sports opportunities, could you specify like what kinds of opportunities are you helping them to get?
Actually, here in the Philippines, there are local leagues. In towns there are different leagues, and so what we actually do is sometimes the government has not allocated proper budget or proper resources in some local towns. So in order to address this gap, our organization, of course, sees potential in the youth, because there are a lot of youth who are actually very, very passionate about sports. So what we did was we went to the community, to the local community, and then we actually conducted a program where we would we would donate different sports equipment like soccer balls, footballs, soccer balls, and then basketballs. And we also expanded to chess boards, different sports. So it's a variety of sports that we actually give opportunity to. It's because here in the Philippines, the youth primarily has been targeted by different vices like smoking, and other manly things that have been corrupting the youth. So what we actually do was to actually immerse them in sports opportunities for them to actually do something meaningful and for them to unlock more potential and more careers or career opportunities in life.
Yeah.
So that's what we did here in the Philippines.
And apart from those opportunities that you mentioned, now many young people in the Philippines are also going abroad to seek for job opportunities. Are there examples you see among your friends? Are they satisfied with their opportunities?
Actually, here in the Philippines, it's also it has been a trend, not only in our generation, but in the older generations.
Yes.
I personally, my mother and father actually work abroad, so it has been a trend. I was also born abroad. I was raised abroad, and I just came back here in the Philippines. So working abroad is a very common trend here in the Philippines. But in terms of my personal generation, our generation, uh, it is still the trend. So here in the Philippines, when you work in the fields of medicine, the fields of architecture, engineering, it is a choice for you. Actually, there's no choice. The only choice for you is to work abroad because opportunities here in the Philippines is very little for them. So there are more higher, greater opportunities outside. So that's it. Actually, it isn't for me. For me, it's actually not a good thing. Why? Because while these workers, these talents, these playmate, these players are already being harnessed abroad by other countries, and in the Philippines, it's just becoming a breeding for young professionals to actually seek employment outside. So it's very contradicting of the fact that the Filipinos should work in the Philippines, which is not the trend here. And this is why I personally, I'm trying to change the narrative. I'm trying to stay here in the Philippines to actually build more opportunities here for all Filipinos to actually work here in the Philippines, to contribute here. Because it's a factor that many Filipinos, why many Filipino workers actually choose abroad because there are no opportunities here. So I personally, as a advocate for nation building, and of course in the youth, I try to create opportunities here in the Philippines for us to thrive as a country and to contribute to nation building. And that's my position in terms of working abroad or having opportunities abroad.
Yeah, and we also know that about 2% of the Philippines population are Chinese. So are there people around you considering employment opportunities in China? How do you think we can promote exchanges between young people from the two countries?
Actually, yeah, that's a very interesting question. While some individuals, with all honesty, of Chinese descent, the Philippines may consider employment opportunities in China, but of course, due to cultural ties or economic aspects, it's not necessarily a common trend or a widespread trend here in the Philippines or among the local population to promote. To work outside, especially in China, because we often choose to go to other Western countries in the Middle East. So that's the widespread or hot topics. Hot places for Filipino workers. But I actually know some communities in Macau, in Hong Kong. So there's a lot of course. And according to data, there are actually Filipino workers also in Beijing, Guangzhou, and other hot economic places in China. But actually, to promote youth exchanges between China and the Philippines, there are actually several initiatives that can be taken. First is to organize more cultural exchange programs. This can allow young people from both countries to experience each other's culture, traditions, and ways of life. This could include language immersion programs, arts and music festivals, and of course culinary exchanges. Because both Chinese and Filipino cuisine has been, I also like Chinese food. It's very pandemic here. So of course, educational partnerships as well. Both countries can foster partnerships between educational institutions. So in China and in the Philippines, to facilitate student exchange programs, joint research projects, and academic collaborations. Scholarships can also be an opportunity, or grants could be provided to encourage participation. Third, I think, is internship opportunities, of course. We can create internship opportunities or internship programs for Filipinos and Chinese that can offer young people from both countries a chance to gain work experience in each other's industries. That's a very interesting collaboration. This could include sectors such as technology, tourism, hospitality, and agriculture. And then, of course, fifth is platforms, of course. And fourth is digital platforms. We can utilize digital platforms and other social media channels to connect young people from both countries and facilitate virtual exchanges, online discussions, and collaborative projects. For me, by implementing these strategies, both countries can encourage greater interaction and cooperation among their youth populations, this can lead to strong bilateral institutions or ties or relations, and can foster a deeper appreciation for each other's culture and perspectives. So that's how I see. That's all of the options that can be done by both countries to be able to have a harmonious relationship between its local population.
Yes, and you mentioned about student exchange programs. Have you guys, our other guests, have you guys attended any student exchange programs between your country and China? Do you want to share with us? Or any one of you, if anyone want to add something like how to promote people exchanges between the country you are from and China, what suggestions do you have?
I will answer the first question. Actually, me and Intan, we're here. We actually, it's not a student exchange program, but it's the World Youth Development Forum last November. So we were actually there in Beijing and in Xi'an, China. And then it's been a very, very collaborative effort. We've met a lot of Chinese friends, and we've enjoyed your culture. It's a very nice culture, and we've been welcomed there. And it goes both ways. We actually told the organizers that we can actually collaborate here in the Philippines if ever there are opportunities or chances that you can also come to our country, and of course to other countries as well, to be able to collaborate in terms of exchanging cultures, traditions, and of course different opportunities for us. So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And to promote more people exchanges between the country you are from and China, are there any other suggestions that you have? Or anyone want to share?
I mean, I think if we are talking about the digital technology and AI advancement, the technology, it's just increased massively. So it's really important, I think, if there is an opportunity from a country like in Indonesia and China can collaborate in terms of research collaborations. There is a lot of aspect in terms of artificial intelligence, data, that we can really improve, especially on understanding how we can ensure that the AI ethics it's also instilled in every single future technology that we are going to have. It's about the future. It's AI. It's going to be more and more advanced in the future, but also we can't simply focusing on the advancement of the AI, but neglecting the aspect in terms of the ethical aspect, the regulations aspect. So I think having the interactions, having the dialogue, having the collaboration research in terms of technology between two countries, it's sort of an open up an opportunity, especially for the young people to understand that there is a potential negative aspect as well in terms of technology. So it's a worthwhile not to just focusing on what we have here in a local aspect, but also considering on country like China, who's obviously I think is a very advanced in terms of technology compared to what we have here currently in Indonesia. So I think it's worthwhile to extend more than the cultural exchange, but also in terms of technology research and collaborations in the future.
Yes, I can't agree with you more, because China has one of the largest data resources in the world. And with the use of digital tools, more and more exchanges between China and also other countries in the Asia will be promoted in the future. So before we go, thank our guests very much again for joining us for this very insightful discussion. We've delved into various topics ranging from entrepreneurship to the impact of digital tools and AI on our lives, and have showcased the diverse perspectives and innovative approaches of young people across Asia. We hope today's conversation has inspired you a bit to see the potential of what young people can do to make our world better and also to contribute to the economy. And also, thank our audience online for joining us. See you guys next time. Bye.